All right, good afternoon, Sac State graduates. Thank you for joining us for our Q&A panel. We're discussing all things networking, job searching, volunteering, and grad school today. So in the midst of celebrating your accomplishments, you've gotten the congratulations, but you may be asking yourself, I've graduated. Now what? So that's totally normal. We want to reassure you. And today we want to provide you with some helpful tools, some resources, a little bit of perspective to get you thinking about what's next now that you have graduated from Sacramento State. So we have some panelists with us today who have expertise to share. They have not only been in your shoes, but they've also chosen a profession that includes working with students and recent graduates who are thinking about their next steps. So that applies to all of you. I'm Laura Breedlove McDaniel. I'm the Senior Alumni Relations Officer of your Sacramento State Alumni Association. And this is one of many programs that the Alumni Association holds or puts on throughout the year and every year. So as a member of the Sacramento State Alumni Association, you have many opportunities to engage with your peers, your fellow Sac State alumni, and the surrounding Sacramento community and a few communities beyond as well. We have more than 310,000 Sacramento State graduates at this point. So we encourage our alumni to stay connected through a variety of ways. We've got our email newsletter that comes out monthly, as well as some intermittent emails. Between then, we have events throughout the year, so come on out to those. And volunteering as a mentor, serving as on committees or as a board member, chapter leaders, network liaisons, lots of opportunities within the Alumni Association. So as we go through our panel today, in the chat box, we will drop a few useful links. So claiming your membership in the Alumni Association, checking out our events page. We have social media across the different platforms that highlights both our alumni and events and programs of the association. So just want to help you stay connected in all of the ways. I'd like now, we'll welcome our panelists, invite them to introduce themselves. Go ahead and share with us your name, pronouns, role, a department or organization you're representing, and the degrees you've earned. Let's start with Rhonda.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rhonda Staley-Brooks, and I'm the Director of Community Relations for SMUD. I am she, her, and I graduated from Sac State in 1995 with an undergrad in child development and in 2018 with an EMBA. So happy to be here today with you guys.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. Erin.
Hello. I'm Erin Mahoney, they, them pronouns. I'm the Student and Recent Graduate Engagement Officer here at the Sac State Alumni Association. I have my bachelor's in English from UC Riverside, and this is actually my first event where I get to say that I'm a Sac State alum as well. I just got my master's in creative writing. I think that's everything.
Congratulations, you've graduated. Now what? Please stay with your current job. We appreciate it. Jose.
Hi, my name is José Martinez. I received my bachelor's degree from the University of San Francisco back in last century. Uh, I have been here at Sacramento State for 27 years, working with graduate admissions for the last 25 of those. So, and I did some graduate work here as well.
Quite a tenure. Thank you so much for being here. Erica.
Hi there, my name is Erica Villalobos. I'm a career development and financial wellness counselor here at the Sac State Career Center. I too am made at Sac State. I earned my Master's of Science in counseling with specialization in career development. Really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you all. We really appreciate you joining us today to share your insights in kind of various aspects of maybe what the next phase post grad looks like. So we're going to spend the next 40 minutes learning from our panelists about resources available to you, Sac State alumni, Sac State graduates. We're going to focus on mentoring, job searching, volunteering, and graduate school, and maybe hit a couple of other related items along the way. If you, our participants, have any questions, there should be a Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Please drop your questions in there, and we'll do our best to answer those during the discussion or follow up after. You'll get kind of the copy of this recording, or we'll feature them in the comments when we do post the recording as well to our YouTube page. So we will hopefully address your concerns and your questions either through our discussion or afterwards as well. So we're going to kick off our discussion here. I have a lot to choose from, kind of not sure where to go. But I'll warn you, Erica, let's jump in with job searching. I know that's kind of on everybody's mind right away. So do recent graduates have access to services at the Career Center? And what services are offered to those recent grads now that they are no longer students?
Absolutely. Yes. Actually, we are very proud and happy to report that um, until further notice, as we may know with current funding things taking place, we are currently providing all services and resources available to students, to alumni as well. So we strongly encourage alumni to reach out and connect with us. As a matter of fact, I believe the Sac State Single Sign-On continues to work for about 2 years after graduation. So that really helps facilitate the opportunity to set up appointments with us. We do provide up to 6 appointments per year for alumni, and not usually do they need that many. So alumni are definitely encouraged to reach out to the Career Center. Again, we do provide the same services and resources that we do to students to alumni. And we encourage alumni to check in and stay connected with the Career Center. We are on social media. Please reach out and connect. Stay engaged with us. We have a lot of workshops and events that help with connecting with employers and finding opportunities. We are constantly working at developing programs and services for both students and alumni. For example, we are currently engaging with expanding internship opportunities, and I'm very happy to report that one of those, especially for those in public service and safety or health careers, may be eligible for benefits through a new program called eWorks Career League. And the interest form is right on our webpage. So if you just go to the Sac State Career Center, and I can go ahead and post that in the chat as well. If you just go to our main website, you'll see it right there in our spotlight for you to fill out an interest form and possibly be eligible for that program in helping with internships. We also help with career exploration, not only maybe delving in a little bit more into your interest and what your career goals and how to achieve those. We provide you resources and support with career documentation, for example, resume development, cover letter writing. We help you with a lot of the career processes, including interview coaching. We're exploring graduate school fit and ability. So we offer a lot of services. I encourage everyone to consider visiting our main webpage, taking a look at our services under counseling topics. Also, you have access to our featured tools. Our featured tools are super helpful with every step of the career development process. Make sure you check out the link that says all featured tools so that you can see what the different steps are and what tools are available for exploring what are some career options. For example, with what can I do with this major? Finding employment opportunities that are locally based, for example, labor market insights tool. Big interview to help you with interviewing strategies. So we do have a great deal of resources and services available. You're able to set up one-on-one appointments with career counselors. And again, staying engaged and connected for all of those of you that may be interested, we are also holding our career fair. We have them twice a year in the fall and the spring, and again, accessible for alumni, where you can connect with over 100 employers and at least do some networking, get informed. If you set up an appointment with us, we can help you prepare for engaging with the career fair, and hopefully even maybe engage with on-the-spot hiring, which is actually something that we're really proud of at the Career Center. Our career fairs tend to have a lot of on-the-spot hiring opportunities. So yes, definitely the Career Center has a lot of services and resources available to students and alumni, and we really hope that alumni stay engaged, stay connected, visit our website frequently, take a look at our calendar, and connect with us through social media.
Wonderful. Oh man. So a lot that alumni can access. It's super useful, continues to be a great resource beyond graduation. We love hearing that at the Alumni Association, and I'm sure our recent grads get a little reassurance from that too. Erin, I want to ask you, as um, Erica pointed out, like maybe you've got this degree in your hand, you're like, what do I do with this major? Or what is kind of the path? I'm maybe interested in this. Are there opportunities for our recent grads to connect with Sac State alums and kind of get that career advice or just some feedback on what that transition is like, where they might want to go?
It would be really anticlimactic if my answer was no, but the answer actually is yes. There's tons of ways for recent alumni and students to connect with current alumni at different phases of their uh, career path. Um, One really important way that they can connect with people in their ideal field is through the Career Network platform that we host online in partnership with the Career Center. Um, so we'll drop a link for that, but it's a free online platform where it's all Sac State students and alumni on there, and you're able to kind of browse through profiles of alumni who have chosen to offer mentorship and guidance, professional mentorship and guidance through the platform. And it automatically gives you like a percentage of how your profile will match with theirs. So you can see, yes, this person works in my field that I want to get involved in. And you can set up a half-hour chat with them right on the platform. It also has tons of other really handy things like industry guidebooks and videos to help you prepare for interviews or any facet of your job search. But that's one way to find someone in your field, someone who's been at Sac State and understands what it takes to get from here to your dream job. So I definitely advise to join the Career Network as soon as possible.
Awesome. Yeah. Another great resource I did want to highlight. Can you also maybe talk a little bit, what is the importance of having a mentor? How can a mentor come into play at this
Yeah,
stage?
I think some people are a little intimidated by the title of mentor or seeking one out, but really finding mentorship will help you in a uh, myriad ways, including someone who can offer you guidance, both for your professional life and just generally uh, how it connects to everything else in your life. Having someone kind of see where you are and understand where you are and where you want to go can help build your confidence. And then obviously there's the key thing of networking, finding someone in your desired field and being able to talk to them, and they're able to connect you with other people. So you can help you'll build relationships, connections, and find opportunity that way.
Great, thank you. That makes me want to go to Rhonda a little bit too, of sometimes those mentors come from more of the volunteering field, whether you've already done it or you're thinking about volunteering, um, and the networking that Erica talked about. So Rhonda, can you talk a little bit about the skills, the benefits that somebody might gain from volunteering at an organization or continuing their volunteering after graduation?
Yeah, if you haven't already started, so maybe you didn't have an internship where you volunteered as an organization to get your degree, you should start now. right? A lot of the networks that you create is through your talent being donated to nonprofits. So think of it like this. If you had an internship, may have been paid or not, you went out to an organization, you provided your skill set, you built your skill set, it's great for your resume. So there's a whole section called the volunteer experience on your resume that you should have, that you should be able to speak to when you don't have that formal work, experience. If you have not volunteered, find what you're passionate about. I always tell people it's important for you to go where you are passionate, because then it doesn't feel like you're giving your free time. So that helps you with that network, because that will be your potential reference for a job that you're going to be going for, that could speak to the time and talent that you were able to give to that organization. So think about, if you haven't done it already, get started now, because it's going to help you in the future.
Definitely. Thank you for the great advice there. Um, in terms of getting started with volunteering, Rhonda, what are kind of the different opportunities for volunteering or service in our community or beyond?
If you're in a community that is small, you could start with their local chamber of commerce. That's where a lot of the businesses and the nonprofits are listed. United Way is a great, they vet out over 280 nonprofits on an annual basis that are looking for volunteers, and they are sectioned out by the type of work that they do, whether it's with animals or children or seniors. You can look at your local Impact Foundry. That's another place where nonprofits are vetted out. And then finally, it could be your church. I mean, it could be your kids' soccer team. It could be your nephew's basketball league. There's always places where volunteers are needed, and just deciding on what it is that you want to provide. If you just graduated with an accounting degree, can you volunteer to help those people get their books in order? Or if you're a comms major or marketing major, can you help create a marketing and communications plan for those organizations? Different ways that you can use your talent.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you. All right. So I do want to jump to Jose. I know we've talked about career and building that resume, but when is graduate school a good option? I know we might have some students who are kind of have their graduate degree now and graduate school or even continuing to additional degrees. When does that come into play, and how soon should someone start preparing for that process?
Well, thank you, Laura. I would say, well, preparing for it, you should always be preparing for it. But the truth is you really don't know until you're in your field. Um, there are some fields right out the bat, you want to be a teacher, you need to get a teaching credential, period. So you're going to school after you get your bachelor's degree. That's how it is. But for instance, in computer science or computer engineering or something, the bachelor's is all you need to get in there. But then what happens when you want to become a project leader or a team leader? Now you have to go get a master's degree. So part of that first question is, what is my goal? Where do I want to get to? And what do I need to achieve that goal? If you want to be a counselor, you're going to need a graduate degree. And this kind of plays into everything we've been talking about, because one of the things for the counseling program is they're going to ask you, have you ever worked with anybody? And most of that experience you're going to get through the V word, volunteering. Volunteering mentorships, uh, some kind of guidance or working with young people. It could be boys and girls clubs, whatever it is. Having that kind of experience. A lot of the programs, social work, our counseling programs, look for that kind of work. So if you didn't do it as an undergrad, some of these things you may need to get to, you can start doing now in volunteering. Um, and again, well, how do I find out what I need to know to get in, what I need to have to get into that career? Again, Erin touched on that. That's your mentoring, networking with the alumni. What do you need? You see this person working in the field and they're at this higher level. Well, what do I need to get to that higher level? Do I need my graduate degree or not? So that's how the one thing of exploring that, and it's something you should be looking at, or you should have been looking at as an undergrad. But again, most of us is just I want to get out of here. Just I just want to get my degree and go. But now you're at a stage of, do I just want to work at the entry level or do I want to move beyond it? Um, so some of that requires that if you want to get to that next level, you're going to have to go for the graduate programs. I am putting in a chat our actual link to where you can get questions and answers about the application process and so forth. As Sac State alumni, we already have all your transcripts on file, so you don't have to worry about getting those to us unless you start taking some classes after you've graduated. Then we will need the new ones. Um, but again, it's going to depend. But that's the first goal is what do I need? Again, I want to be a teacher, I need a credential. I want to be a counselor, I need a master's in counseling. I want to teach at the community college, I need a master's degree. I want to be a university professor, well, I need a doctorate. I want to be a computer engineer, I need a bachelor's degree. I want to be a project leader within that program, now I need a master's degree. So that's the kind of the answer to that question is they have to take that look at where do I want to end up at.
That's a great approach to it, right? Of how do you even know what you want to do until maybe you've experienced it a little bit within the field. And I think that's where those resources Erica was talking about kind of come into play. How do you kind of get into the field and figure out which job is right for you? So definitely use those career center resources to maybe start your jumping off point. Um, Erica, if someone is exploring those job opportunities, trying to get into the field, and we're here in a virtual environment, so those hybrid and virtual work options have become much more common in recent years. Does that change anything about the job search approach in your experience?
So the hybrid and virtual work search uh, has changed how they're looking for work, but the work in itself it's non-changing. You still want to be placing yourself in a very competitive way, particularly with hybrid or remote opportunities. You want to make sure that you're really highlighting the skills that are going to matter. And honestly, I mean, this really goes across to all opportunities that you're applying for, placing yourself in a position of best fit for the role that you're trying to fill. With a remote or hybrid role, you're probably trying to really demonstrate your ability to work independently, your time management, your ability to clearly communicate, your flexibility and knowledge of digital platforms. So the search in itself has not changed. The work options out there definitely have. I mean, you no longer have to limit your search to, let's say, a 30-minute commute, right? Now you can really expand that. A lot of remote work searches are even looking for like Bay Area or sometimes even national and global opportunities. One thing that you do want to be mindful of course, is really understanding what it is that you're applying for. For example, some employers do have some limitation to, let's say, California residency only to stay within tax or policies, employer policies and limitations of hiring. But for the most part, your job search can expand significantly. Of course, with that, you also want to understand the competitiveness also expands with it. But while the search has changed a little bit in regard to the hybrid or remote work, still what employers are looking for has not changed. You still want to be compatible with transferable skills, time management, and ability to clearly communicate to find these opportunities. And at the Career Center, we certainly have a great degree of strategies to help you with locating those opportunities. LinkedIn, of course, being one great resource, and we do offer appointments to support your LinkedIn profile development and finding a lot of other strategies and places resources to look for those opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, definitely a different work environment than when I started searching for jobs a number of years ago. But yeah, you're right. The approach is still the same. They're still going to want a resume. They're still going to want probably a cover letter, some references. Um, so I think I want to go back to Rhonda too. Can you speak a little bit about how you might frame experiences on a resume, whether that's volunteer or even like student orgs and clubs? Like how can those enhance the resume so that an employer sees maybe a fuller picture of you before they offer you an interview?
Yeah, I would make sure that in the cover letter that you outline the things that if you don't have the direct tie-in work experience, then in your cover letter you outline your direct experience in your volunteer work. So I'll use me for example. I run a church ministry feeding 300 plus families every week, and I run the volunteers who go out to that. So I would phrase that as my leadership role, right? I lead a church ministry. I oversee 80 volunteers who volunteer on a weekly basis. I'm not getting paid for these things. I am just crafting the message to show that I have leadership skills, even though I may not have formal leadership skills in a day job. So it's all about how you sell it to be able to get that interview. And it's primarily in your cover letter and tying. And I always tell people when they try to get jobs at SMUD, like, how do I get HR to at least give me a chance to get to an interview at SMUD? And I said, you take the job description and your cover letter and your resume, and every time there's a word in the job description, match it with experience over here. And if you don't have an informal work experience, you make your volunteer work experience fit what they're looking for. That at least will get you past the HR screening. You know, it's just computers that are saying, "Oh, I don't see any community outreach in their cover letter. We're going to move on to someone who has it." So you've got to really position, if you don't have that work experience, but you have it in your volunteer world, position yourself through those two pieces of paper. That's the only entree into these interviews, is that cover letter and your resume.
Absolutely. I've, you know, made many edits to my own over the years, but also screened quite a few in this
Okay.
role as well. So yeah, employers know what they're looking for and what's going to
Yes.
stand out to them.
And
Erin,
you
yeah,
probably caught the copy and paste, right?
I
Where
did. Yes.
I want these 10 jobs,
Yeah.
and the cover letter says the exact same thing. You know, that's
Yes.
where you gotta use a little crafting skills. You gotta make them
Hmm.
different. Gotta stand out.
Yes, I would advise, make sure you're being intentional about your cover letters too, and you're addressing them to the right organization and not the one you just applied to an hour ago. Um, so in terms of like really having maybe even a second set of eyes, Erin, can you talk a little bit about some of those um, resources? And I know Erica's got some of those as well, of where can the mentorship come into play when it's just the like, can somebody look at this for me? Can somebody help me with this before I put it in front of an employer?
Absolutely. I think Erica will have a lot to say about this, but uh, I'm going to go back to the Career Network, which is a very exciting feature that we have. But like I said, when you schedule these um, sessions with alumni who are willing to help, in their profiles, they say, I'm really good at resumes, so contact me if you want another set of eyes on your resume. And you can share the file through the platform, have them look at it. And there's also, like I said, videos on the platform that can explain resume building, things like that. And then one thing I didn't mention yet, but um, as part of the Alumni Association, we have a lot of chapters and networks. So you could join a chapter and network, which are based on heritage groups, identity groups, regional groups, or your profession or other categories, and find someone within that group who would be willing to look at your resume and help
Okay.
connect you in the field you're seeking.
For sure, lots of events and opportunities there, many of them virtual too. So if you're not staying in the area, still a chance to connect, whether it's through the Career Network platform, some chapter network events, some of our general events like this one. Um, there are resources out there. Erica, do you want to speak a little bit to resources in terms of like resume review or workshops that the Career Center offers in that regard?
Yes, definitely. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, again, do take full advantage of your benefit of accessing Career Center resources and services. We do have digital handouts. We have a job and internship handbook that really supports the resume development portion. Here at the Career Center, we make a tremendous effort to stay up to date with the current trends through employer feedback of the appropriate structure um, and topics that want to be included in your resume. So you're always welcome to set up an appointment with us, with a career counselor to give you some feedback on a resume feedback appointment. We definitely provide insights, and as Erin was mentioning, and it's been a kind of topic with Rhonda as well, the importance, the grand importance of networking with career development. Networking is definitely the best strategy for professional development, connecting with someone that particularly people that are already in the positions and possibly even the employers that you're looking to get into that have actually been through that process, the hiring process themselves, getting a clear understanding of what your industry, for example, with nursing, there are particular structures that are required in resumes. It would be very important, right, that you understand what you want to include there. For information technology, probably has a particular resume structure as well. And there are some trends that go in and out for resume development. So again, really do consider using the resources, the Sac State Career Network, to connect with the professionals that are in the field and can provide you feedback because they've been through the process themselves, connecting with us at the Career Center that are very up to date with current workforce development and trends on resume development, in which we can provide you also resources to support. And if you were to explore the Career Center's website, you're able to find under the jobs tab the handbook that can give you a lot of insights on the recommended resume structure.
Awesome. That's great to hear, always. And I know I'm uh, want to get back to Jose too, of a resume is still kind of important in that grad school process, or like what is your experience bringing into grad school? So can you um, kind of illuminate the grad school application process too? What does that look like? And
Mm.
even figuring out what program to go into. Maybe you have a little bit of work experience and now you want to take that next step into a leadership or a project management role within your field. How do you figure out that program?
Well, again, so this part is where we have to humble ourselves. Uh, Remember, a university can have anywhere from 6,000 to 30,000 students, and you are just one of many. A university is built upon a reputation it has created for itself. So, number one is you need to know where you want to go. Uh, so, for instance, to kind of give an analysis, uh, if you are very liberal, you may not want to go to a conservative school. If you are very conservative, you may not want to go to a liberal school. There are some that will love the challenge of doing that, but it's understanding the culture, the environment you're going into. But when you're applying, the question is so this kind of sounds awkward, but basically the program is going to say, so what's special about you? Why should I pick you? Especially like, for instance, our social work program, they only admit 100 students out of 400 applications. So what makes you better than 300 other people? Because you got to get within that 100. What makes you stand out? And so that's when you begin to write about how you can fit the mode of the university and you kind of go hand in hand. Uh, Again, motivation. Universities are very big on what motivates you. Why do you even want to go in the field? So, some people is very personal. I've known a student who wanted to go into biochemistry more for research purposes because of a family member that passed away from cancer. And so they were being driven by a desire to do research in the medical field. And chemistry would fit that, and bioengineering as well. So, what's your motivation? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to go in this pathway? That's going to be part of that statement, and you need to put that in there. Um, Most universities are looking for individuals who are able to interact with a diverse population, especially as we try to diversify. And this is where I tell a lot of applicants, especially applicants who are either the children or grandchildren of immigrants, they tend to shortchange themselves because they have a skill set that oftentimes they don't even realize that they have. Because you live here, you go to school here, you're used to the American culture, but either your parents or your grandparents didn't go here. They didn't grow up here. They have a different way of thinking. And guess who that bridge communicator is? More often than not, it's you. You're the one having to go back and forth between, explaining to your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your grandma, oh no, that's not what this means. This means this. So you're the one trying to bridge two different worlds. So that experience, which often we just overlook as like, oh, I just got to do that. That's exactly what the university is asking for. Do you have the ability to go back and forth and communicate with people? So uh, those are things you need to look at. What about me? What about me that fits what this university is looking for? They want somebody who's determined, somebody who's motivated, somebody who can communicate between different communities. Well, oftentimes we don't even look at our own lives or even our work experiences to show I do have that. You know, um, I myself am the first generation graduate, so I didn't have a mentor from my own family. I had to go find one, and I went into areas where nobody had been there before. So how did I get through it? Well, I had to go look for things. Oh, we have a word for that. That's called resourcefulness. Those are the little things that you don't often stop and think about. And so part of that self-reflection, you may see the very qualities that a program is looking for in its applicants in you. You just need to talk about it and be willing to open up and talk about it. Um, there are two different things. One is your statement of purpose, and then you other one has a personal statement. So the statement of purpose is more, this is my goal. This is where I want to get to. This is what I want to do, and this is why I want to do it. And your personal statement is, it's kind of still with the goal, but then it becomes more of the why I really want to do this, the who I am. This is where the personal side of it comes in. What is motivating you? I got my degree in history because my grandparents. My grandparents would always remind me, if you don't know where you come from, then you don't know where you're going. And if you're not careful, you're going to end up in the same place all over again. So, understanding also the struggles that were made. My grandparents were the ones that migrated. Uh, but what did that mean? What did that take? What kind of courage did they have to make that change and stuff? So you learn to appreciate the past more and hopefully change and move to the future. That's my whole reason for studying history. That would be part of a personal statement. If a statement of purpose, it would be wanting to help people understand that we're not necessarily living in an ice bubble, but we're part of a continuation of a story that goes back generations. And so a new appreciation of those that came before us. That would be that statement of purpose. So you kind of see there's a little bit, it's almost the same, but it's a little bit different in the focus. And so that's what you would have to work on.
Awesome. Thank you. Well said. And I think it sounds like a lot of those kind of communication tools and writing skills that hopefully you all gained here at Sac State as a grad, as an undergrad or maybe a graduate student is really going to come into play, whether that is applying to grad school, applying to jobs, or just trying to kind of get out into the community and start your networking. So lean on people you had here on campus, lean on people in that career network, our chapters and networks, lean on the Career Center. So I just want to highlight some of those resources that are in the chat or in the comments. That there are resources out there for you. There are places to get more resources as well. I think looking to the Q&A here, there's a question about you've maybe done volunteer work, but do you have how do you find a mentor that can help guide you when you land that job in your field? And that's maybe where the Career Network comes into play. I'm a new, um, you know, new hire in this field. What do I do to establish myself, or where do I go from here? Um, so that's, I think, making those connections in the career network through some of our chapters and networks, or maybe doing the volunteering, whether that's with your coworkers or in a kind of adjacent organization that can get you somebody that's already mid-career or very far along in their career to give you that guidance of how to keep going. Um, the other questions that have come up here are about kind of, that we recognize the struggle right now of those job postings and kind of job searching. LinkedIn, maybe some job opportunities. How do you determine what is just kind of there to collect information and maybe is more of a scam versus an actual posting? This is an open position and we are trying to hire. Erica, or maybe even Rhonda, do you have any kind of advice of how do you know if that job opportunity is a true opportunity versus more of a scam?
I I would say look and see if anybody else is linked to the company that you can verify. And so especially if there's like a Sac State grad that works there or somebody in your network that works there, make sure that you are vetting it out through referrals. That would be my first step.
Great, thank you. Erica, any advice on that?
Yes, definitely. Definitely agree with Rhonda. Do your research. As a matter of fact, it is really strongly encouraged and recommended in job search practice to do your research on the employers, the roles that you're trying to apply for, connect with people. Hopefully even to do some informational interviewing. If you don't know what informational interviewing is, please connect with us. But this is pretty much networking and connecting with professionals that are there at that site. We at the Career Center do offer some resources that are very helpful for job searching. One of them, for example, I'm going ahead and put into the chat there is Labor Market Insights. Labor Market Insights is real-time data that can give you some really good insights about employers that are reporting to Labor Market Insights about opportunities that they have open and available. These are vetted employers. And what alumni can do is go into Labor Market Insights, put in the occupation or industry of interest. They can narrow that down to the state and furthermore to the county. So sometimes as a strategy, if you're not finding what you need at the moment within, for example, Sacramento County, you can look at a neighboring county like Yellow County if you're able to have the transportation to look a little further. But Labor Market Insights offers amazing opportunities with giving you the top 20 employers for the occupations you're looking at. Alumni go into the employer websites and see what are their job postings. And a lot of them even have internship opportunities for recent graduates. So something that's definitely a good idea to look into. Additionally, through our website, you'll see a featured tool called What Can I Do with This Major? what can I do with this major is also a monitored site. And if you hit the link of what can I do with this major through our website, we've already paid the fees and access for it. So we have that for alumni. We've had people that try to just Google it and there's fees involved. So just go through our website and hit our link. And there, when you hit your major, when you scroll all the way to the bottom, one of the resources is employment opportunities. And those employment opportunities are specific to the major that you're researching. So super helpful. And then really gaining some understanding with your networking and research of what are some pretty valid job sites. For example, teaching credentials, teaching opportunities are more likely than not going to be posted through EdJoin, which is very prevalent, right? Um, and then, of course, with LinkedIn, with your profile setup, you're probably going to get really great recommendations for opportunities. Yeah, definitely do your research, not only on the sites that you're visiting, you're also trying to do research on the employers that you're targeting and for the roles that you are applying. But please do consider visiting the Career Center and we can help you with taking a look at some of those resources. And if you'd like, you can use some of the resources I mentioned straight out of our website.
Awesome. Thank you. Erin, I want to give you kind of a closing opportunity here. We may have some participants here who are a little more established in their careers. Either they came back for a master's degree or came back after some work experience. And then maybe looking long term for those who are just getting started in their careers down the road when you are established. Is there an opportunity to serve? How do you kind of stay connected? I know Rhonda's a great example of staying connected to your university and serving and volunteering, um, mentorship, and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Erin.
Have you heard of the Career Network? I'm just kidding. I've talked about that enough, but do sign up for that. But we also offer programming that helps connect alumni and students and recent grads all together to help build their uh, career strength. I don't really know the term I'm looking for, but one thing that we offer, Rhonda helps with this. We offer a program called the Networking Mocktail Party, where Rhonda does a 30-minute workshop about the importance of networking and how to network in one half of a room, and then releases the students and recent grads from that workshop into a mocktail party in progress with alumni. So they're able to practice those networking skills on the spot with, a friendly group of people who are eager to help them get comfortable with that skill and help them along their journey. So that's a really good way to participate, whether you are an established alumni in your field or looking to uh, build up your professional skills. We also have things like the Gold Alumni Council, which is the graduates of the last decade council that advises the Alumni Association honor programming. So that's a good way to network and to get experience and to show off that you're smart and capable. I've also mentioned the chapters and networks, but we also have a really great program called Dinner with Hornets that we do once a year, where alumni sponsor a table and we seat a bunch of students with them at that table over a nice meal. So alumni are able to share their experience now that they're in their professional world with students who are seeking that same career path. So those are some of the things that I work on. But don't forget the Career Network as well.
Definitely. And I think my advice to Sac State grads is you hopefully established a pretty strong community while you were here. You may have professors, instructors, staff in some of those resource centers that you built a connection with. They can be great resources, whether you continue to volunteer on campus or, send them a message every once in a while. Hey, do you know this company? Is this an actual job that's hiring? Or do you know somebody at this company that maybe you could introduce me to? There's a great network across Sac State's campus. It doesn't have to be through the Alumni Association directly. Um, use those connections, keep up those connections so that you can use that resource as well.
I wanted to add one last bit of advice. As a student, I never really understood all the resources that were available to me on campus. And I think that's really true as a graduate as well. You still have so many resources as we've highlighted here. Um, but it's true also in a workplace. I remember in college, to date myself, when I worked at Blockbuster, I didn't realize that there was like an educational credit system where they would pay for my school. So just be sure to seek out opportunity in your workplace, in your colleges, everywhere.
I have a great question here that just popped up in our Q&A, probably for both Jose and Erica, and maybe even Rhonda too. Um, Letters of recommendation, sometimes very important to a job application or a grad school application. Um, now they've got that relationship right now with a professor or an instructor. Should they ask for recommendation letters now or wait until there's a specific direct purpose? Jose, any advice on that part?
Um, well, keep in mind that any faculty member probably has a full schedule. So you don't want to necessarily ask them too early. But at that same token, don't lose communication with them. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is that you all gathered through here is whether we're talking about graduate school or even employment, the big word here is networking, because that's what it's about. It's not about you as an individual, it's about who you can communicate and interact with. And so those relationships you need to keep going because if you do need them to write the letters of recommendation, it's not like they're sitting there going, "Who are you? I don't remember you." And again, you don't want to ask them too early because uh, you know they're going to be like, "Well, did you use it?" Like, "Oh no, I haven't used it yet." So timing is everything. But the letters of recommendation, sometimes you're going to have to provide your faculty with a little bit of resume and background information on who you are, because a lot of times they've only seen you in the classroom. Um, and if you do go for like a master's degree and then later on considering a doctorate, uh, I would say as a graduate student, that would be my number one focus is get to know your faculty advisor very well. Um, I mean, I used to have dinner with mine. Mine recently passed away, and so I was at his funeral. But you need to build those relationships because, especially if they're going to ask a recommendation, they can talk about you sometimes in a way you don't even see yourself. It's kind of like I was saying earlier. You don't see yourself as a cultural bridge, but other people do. And so there might be certain things about you that this person sees that you don't even see in yourself, but you need to stay in contact with them. I wouldn't necessarily say, I'm going to ask you for something I'm going to need 2 years down the line. Uh, but yeah, again, also don't ask for something I need 2 weeks from now. You're going to have to give them a little bit more time than 2 weeks. Uh, so for instance, if you're going to go to grad school, we are opening for spring semester on July 1. So right now would be the time to be asking faculty for a letter of recommendation, at least give them a month time to get it done. Uh, but that's kind of what you'd have to gauge.
I
Great,
want to
thank you.
I
Yeah,
wanted to
Rhonda.
add on from the community reference. When I was working at Big Brothers Big Sisters, I had lots of interns and lots of people who came through and assisted. And because I had so many, it was hard to remember them all. So when they would come back 4 years later and they say, "Can you do a reference for me?" I would say, "Draft me your reference the way you would like to see it and send it to me." And then I was able to quickly edit. Okay, well, maybe I wouldn't go that far, but let's change this line. I was able to edit and sign it because it was already prepared for me. So in some cases, you may even have to, and I'll be very honest, 100 people over 23 years when I worked there, I couldn't remember all 100 of them. So draft it for them, have it already packaged up. The biggest thing that he said that I was like, oh my gosh, yes, don't ask me to do it on Tuesday. You need it on Friday.
Absolutely. Yes, please. A little bit of time and grace is always appreciated. Erica, do you find employers are looking for hey, I knew this person 3 months ago, or this letter is 3 years old, but I had a deep relationship with them?
Yes, that's what I was going to mention. I 100% agree with everything that Jose and Rhonda have said so far. The timelines is absolutely essential. You don't want to, and particularly with the question at hand, when you're talking about a professor's recommendation letter, um, yeah, you want to be very mindful of the time that you're providing them to actually complete this letter. You want to make sure that you have those connections. As Rhonda said, they have a lot of students, a lot of courses, and sometimes it's very hard to recall one student in particular. So it is really in your best interest to connect, and not only with professors, employers, colleagues, anyone that you're attaching to professionally to support your further development. You want to make sure that you're really developing these relationships, as Jose mentioned. Um, and yes, Laura, to definitely answer your question, I have had interactions with employers directly, and particularly coming from professors. We all, the employers and here at the Career Center, we certainly understand the tremendous pressure that professors are under. And sometimes they need to write, 10, 12 recommendation letters within a certain time period. So, it's kind of understandable that some of them kind of fall back on templates. And then these employers are receiving like multiple applications with all very similar recommendation letters. So it's nothing really that helps you stand out. You really want to help the person that's writing your recommendation letter to really recall you on a deeper level. It is your best interest to facilitate that process, as Jose said, as much as possible. And Rhonda mentioned, touched on it as well. Provide them your resume, give them updates on what you're up to and how things are going for you. Really specify the skill sets that you would like to be highlighted. You want to facilitate the process for them. You want to be mindful and respectful. And for your own benefit, you really want to make a judgment call on the quality of recommendation letter that you're going to get from the person that you're asking.
Great, thank you. So I'd say, maintain those relationships. Maybe if you got some short-term applications coming up, get your letters now. If it's for down the road, it's maintaining that relationship to be able to reach back out and then help them kind of recall who you were and what that relationship was like or what you contributed to their research or to their classroom or workplace. Um, a couple questions in the chat about grad school. I'm going to kind of forward those to Jose and have those answered afterward. They're pretty specific about GPAs and getting tips on statements of purpose, but I know those resources are out there as well. Um, our last question, you will get a recording of this meeting, and we will include it on our YouTube channel as well, so that you can come back and see those links and see all the resources we have put in the chat as well. So thank you all for being here today, to our panelists as well as to our participants. The advice, expertise, knowledge, just so much to take in. We understand, but we really do appreciate that it's here for our students. So I would just like to say on behalf of the Sacramento State Alumni Association and Sacramento State, we welcome you to the Hornet alumni family. Congratulations again on graduating. We look forward to engaging with you at upcoming events or other virtual programs or through our communication channels. So we appreciate you. Thank you for attending this event. We will wrap up here, but we will follow up via email. So thank you again, and stingers up.